kill yourself. And this student, Marudhi, Imam Ahmad said to him, when he recited this verse, he said, go outside and look and go and tell me what you see. And so Marudhi left Imam Ahmad, went outside and saw oceans of students there. Each one with their papers, each one's with their qalam, waiting to write down what Imam Ahmad was going to say. And so he came back. And in fact, he actually asked the students, why are you out here? They said, we're waiting to see what Imam Ahmad will say, and we're going to transcribe it. Marudhi went back to Imam Ahmad and told him what he saw. And Imam Ahmad said to him, O Marudhi, what am I going to gain by misguiding all these people? It is all right for me to die. It's not all right for me to misguide these people and kill them in their iman by giving them the wrong opinion, by giving them the wrong issue. And in fact, these stances, there are different scholars who had opportunities to go into court, and in different Muslim countries they may have invited scholars to come in and testify against some of the Muslim brothers that were there. And in more than one case, and I'm not going to mention names here, but scholars were brought in to testify. And one specifically that I remember, where the sheikh came in and they were expecting him to say that the actions that these people had done was kufr and they were to be killed. And from the fatwa of the sheikh, they were going to hang the brothers that were there, and it would become precedent, meaning that they would make a law that anybody who they disliked, they would take the fatwa of the sheikh and say that this is Islam. And the sheikh stood up on the witness stand and he did not give them the fatwa that they wanted. And it was on TV and the entire country heard and the governments were shocked. But he stood there and said that true, it is an abomination that happened, a major sin, but it's not punishable by death. Punish them in other ways if you wish, but you cannot punish them by death. And Islam doesn't allow for this to happen. And as the people said, Allahu Akbar, you see examples like that. And I'm not mentioning that scholar's name, you can maybe go and search it out. But these are people that you may have heard backbiting on and saying like, oh, did you hear Sheikh so-and-so did this and that. This is the legacy that they left. And they understood from the ulama, and a lot of us haven't understood the kind of humbleness and sacrifice that they went through. Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, he was offered the dunya. Like we saw with the other scholars, they were offered the dunya, and in many cases, they turned away from it when it had any shubha, any doubt that was not coming from a pure source. So Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, was offered the chance to become the qadi, a government official, to become the Muslim judge. And it's possible that the person could do a lot of good with that position. And there were other scholars that accepted the position, but there was also a lot of dhulm and transgression that happens when the person takes on that government position. And so Imam Ahmad was one of those who was offered that dunya, and he turned his back on it for fear that he would be forced into committing transgression against the servants of Allah. And so he wouldn't, even though he had the poverty that he was in, again, he wouldn't search out social assistance. He wouldn't search out handouts from people, but he would work for his wealth. And so like we said, that he would either be carrying things or he would be copying out books. And so Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah, when other people were living lavishly, Imam Abdul Razzaq narrates and recalls that Imam Ahmad, once he was leading the salah, and he made a mistake in salah in his recitation. And people are like, doesn't he know this Quran? How's his recitation? And so on. But when they asked further, why did he make mistakes in the salah? They realized that Imam Ahmad hadn't eaten for 3 days. For 3 days, they had no food in his house. And because of the tiredness that his body was through, that he was making the mistakes in salah, but no one would know it. No one would know it. And so his son Abdullah comes to him one day, and he says, Ya Abi, mata raha. He says, oh father, when are we finally going to relax? And his father told him, again the legacy of the fathers and their sons, the parents and their children. He said to him, بِأَوَّلِ خُطْوَةٍ نَخْطُوهَا فِي الْجَنَّةِ. He said, with the first step that we step into paradise, that's when the relaxation begins. But until that day, we do not relax. And this was the life of Imam Ahmad, rahimahullah. and indeed in all the lives and all the scholars, you will see examples and recurring themes, secrets of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them. And these were just short glimpses, and we called it like portraits and memoirs, just little portraits of their lives. And indeed there's much more to their lives than just a simple lecture like this can encompass. But as you learn more about them, then you start having that example to follow and emulate. And hopefully, bi'idhnillah, if there's just one person that says that I want to be the next Imam Ahmad, the next Imam Shafi'i, next Imam Malik, next Imam Abu Hanifa, why not? Just work on it. Make that intention. And they say, kind of like a final quote, that some people, they make their goals the stars. Stars are very high, but they look to the stars all the time as their goal. And they say that they may live and die and never reach the stars, never reach that goal, never reach that altitude. But in the darkness of the night, those stars will guide them to their destination. Through the darkness of the night, those stars will guide them through their destination because they made them in their eyesight and they saw that direction. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and bless us to be of those who follow these examples. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Inshallah, if there's any questions, you're welcome to ask now. This is a serious question here, this one. It says, can I get you to comment on blind following, such as Imam Malik and those who claim to follow him, but you find them upon bid'ah, such as praying with the hands to the side? It's a very serious thing to say about an issue of ijtihad that it's a bid'ah. Very serious. And usually it's lay people that make that mistake. If it's an issue of ijtihad, then the person who is differing is not a mubtada'. They're not kafir. Because just like this one scholar came to their conclusion based on proof, another scholar came to their conclusion upon proof. And they're both human beings. It's not that Allah revealed in the Quran, pray with your hands on your chest, and anybody who does it is in hellfire. There's not an ayah like that. But you have one narration going one way, and the Imams, even though we might come later, now we have all our hadith databases in the whole world you have access to, and you hear all these different opinions, and a point may become clearer to you now, may not have been clear to them in that time. I'm not saying it wasn't clear. Maybe they really did have strength in their proofs, but it's totally incorrect to call it bid'ah. It's an issue of ijtihad. And one of the things I benefited from Shaykh Salah Hassawi, Hafidhahullah, is as soon as someone asks a question, the first thing that he does in answering any fatwa is to categorize it, whether it's an issue of aqeedah or an issue of ijtihad or an issue of siyasa shar'iyya. So if it's an issue of aqeedah, meaning someone will say, someone came, they don't believe in sunnah. Okay, it's an issue of aqeedah, very serious question. Another issue comes, can we do rallies? Siyasa shar'iyya, like Islamic politics, based on masalih and mafasid, the benefits and harms. It's an issue of ijtihad. A lot of lay people think, no, it says in the Quran, do not go for rallies. And anybody who does is in hellfire. Some people think that there's like verses like that. So when they think like that, they think like they had this Quran revealed to them like this. And so it's critical to define the proof. Now an issue of the hands going down, it's an issue of ijtihad. Now I remember someone saying that like some people, they study so much about Islam, and in the end they like pray with their hands down, or maybe they put their hands near their belly button and so on. But the proper place to put it is up on the chest. And I'll tell you that Imam Ahmad Rahimahullah's opinion was the same as the Hanafi opinion in the placement of hands. So if you saw Imam Ahmad's opinion, Imam Ahmad used to put his hands down at about the belly button area. And so when people put their hands up here, it might be still a Hanbali madhab, but they're getting it from some of the students of Imam Ahmad. But Imam Ahmad's opinion, with all that sunnah that he compiled, was that the hands go down. And I'm not saying this to say one opinion is correct or not. I'm just saying it that when you hear something, it's not so quick that we say that it's bid'ah. Now, let's just say, because I know these opinions, if I asked you to count out all the like blind following issues that people follow, I'm sure that you couldn't count 10 of them. Should we try it? All the blind following issues. Okay, hands to the side is one. Who has another blind following issues? Tell me. Shrimp? Okay, shrimp, no problem. And wiping on the socks? is one, that's for sure. What's another blind following like issue that you think is blind following? But anyhow, praying 2 rak'ahs when you're coming in for Jummah prayer, should you sit down or should you stand up? Did you guys know that one? Yeah? Okay. Other ones, we're at 4. Blind following issues. Where you put your hands in salah? Up here or down? Between Asr and Maghrib? It's usually not that big a deal, but we'll count it as one. Should you pray between Asr and Maghrib or not? Right, like we said, Imam Malik had the same opinion as Imam Abu Hanifa. Keep them coming. 4 rak'at together, a witr. That's a good one. Witr, 3 rak'ats together with qunut or without qunut. Right? Taraweeh. Taraweeh, 20 or 8 rak'at. Okay? Keep them going. We have to hit 10 just so you can prove me wrong. Anybody else? Okay, that's a good one too. Reciting the Fatiha after Imam, like if the Imam says